Hello, my name is Eric Kaldahl, and I'm the Chief Executive here at the Amerind Foundation and the Chief Curator of our museums. Amerind recently participated in a grant-funded project to help preserve information from our excavations that were conducted by the Amerind across southern Arizona. And this project is being spearheaded by an organization that is headquartered at Arizona State University. It's called the Center for Digital Antiquity. And today I'm joined by the Center's Executive Director, Dr. Chris Nicholson. He is going to tell us more about their work, about the project that the Amerind's been involved in, and why their work is so important. Chris, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Eric. So I'm actually relatively new to Digital Antiquity. I came here in October of 2019 after having been at the University of Wyoming, working as the director for the Wyoming State Climate Office and the Water Resources Data System. But really my background is in archaeology. I've worked across the Great Plains at kill sites. I've worked in German Upper Paleolithic sites. I've done ethnoarchaeology in South America, and I've done quite a bit of CRM work across the United States, but I've always really been interested in digital data related to archaeology and how people use that in different settings. And really my most recent research that I kind of enjoy is looking at paleoclimates and paleodemography, but obviously I'm very passionate about issues surrounding digital preservation and archiving and making archaeological resources available for reuse in synthetic research that asks or answers some of these larger grand challenge type questions in archaeology about human societies and human behavior.
Can you tell us what exactly the Center for Digital Antiquity is and what its purpose is?
So the Center for Digital Antiquity is a center at Arizona State University. We're housed in the School of Human Evolution and Social Change. And really our mission is to extend our knowledge of our human past, but also to improve our cultural heritage management. And we do this by preserving digital archaeological data. We do that, but we also really want to facilitate data discovery and reuse. And primarily we do this through the development and the maintenance of our online digital repository, TDAR, which is the Digital Archaeological Record. And TDAR really allows people to search for data sets, for documents or images, or any other information that might have been uploaded and archived by archaeologists, mostly in the United States, but also around the world.
So why is the work that the Center for Digital Antiquity conducts, why is it so important in preserving our human story? And how do you go about guaranteeing that this information will be there in the long term?
So, archaeology is kind of a unique science, and that often it's sort of a destructive science where we're learning about the past. And while we're doing that and excavating and learning about the past, we're destroying the very archaeological sites that we're trying to learn something about. And so we remove artifacts and sediments and all sorts of information from the ground, and we can't get that information back. So the information that we do get, we really need to be conscientious of in terms of preserving it, especially now that we're living in this sort of born digital age where we really have access to technology to record all sorts of information in the field. We can capture spatial data, we can capture hundreds of digital images of a site, we can record geophysical data, but we're really interested in what happens to that information once it's collected. In addition to that, we really are interested in promoting these FAIR principles within science and archaeology. And FAIR stands for findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable information and data so that future generations of archaeologists and tribal communities and the public in general can access and use this information for all sorts of different things. And really, we don't want to lose this cultural heritage. And oftentimes we're realizing that more and more our data and the information that we originally derived from those archaeological investigations are some of the most important contributions that we can make to the field, almost even more so than some of our original interpretations of a site, allowing people to go back in time and say, okay, let's look at this information through a new lens and try to understand something a little bit different, maybe about this culture or the region in general.
So TDAR reached out to us about a project that's been going on for about 2.5 years now. Can you tell us a little bit about the project that you recruited Amerind to participate in?
So the project that Digital Antiquity is doing in collaboration with the Amerind Museum is really a neat one. We were granted a National Endowment for the Humanities grant to create a comprehensive digital library of reports from the archaeological investigations of the ancient Hohokam, or Hohokam, as I think most people are more familiar with that term. But the Hohokam lived in central and southern Arizona and had these really long-lived large towns. And they were really able to sort of tame the Sonoran Desert with these massive irrigation systems. They had these really extensive social networks and these ceremonial ball courts across the region, and they had these really huge trade networks. And there's a lot of information and documents about this culture. But currently, this collection is really dispersed across a lot of different groups and entities and collections. And what we were really hoping to do is assemble this collection in one main repository. And the idea is that this collection will contain about 1,200 different archaeological reports. And so we've been working with Amerind, different CRM firms, different museums like the Natural History Museum in Mesa. And all of it, the idea is to get access to these reports and put them into a singular place for people to access. And really this archive will provide us with scholars with long-term crucial data so that we can do these different comparative studies, that'll also allow indigenous communities in Arizona to have better access to the wealth of information about these ancestral populations. In addition to these groups, the public in general will be able to access these resources to learn more and more about this culture.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining us today for this interview and for all the great work that you and your team at the Center for Digital Antiquity at Arizona State University do. We've enjoyed participating in the project with you and hope to do more with you in the future. Thanks so much, Chris.
Thank you, Eric.